It is that time of year, my AKAPADers. It's horror season. It's October. It's the 31 Days of Dread, where we do on this podcast, AKAPAD, the Film Buff Podcast. That's me. We do one horror movie a day for the entire month of October. This year, it's nothing but black and white movies. Let's go. Isn't it wild when you consider that three of the greatest horror movies of all time are independent ventures? Today, we're talking about Night of the Living Dead, 1968. But it's good to put it in the range of Texas Chainsaw Massacre, 1974, and John Carpenter's Halloween, 1978. Now, we've spoken about the Halloween franchise multiple times on this podcast. We've spoken about Texas Chainsaw Massacre multiple times on this podcast. I mean, like recently, we were talking about the Ed Gein Netflix miniseries, the masterpiece that is. But, you know, that highly incorporates Texas Chainsaw Massacre in the overall message. Let me share something with you guys about Night of the Living Dead, because I've been on a little bit of this H.P. Lovecraft spiral rabbit hole recently. I can't get enough of it, and everywhere I look, I see H.P. Lovecraft. Recently, I did a pre-record. I recorded an episode about the filmography of John Carpenter that I'm hoping drops sometime in October period, because he's a horror guy, so we got to talk about John Carpenter once, like just as a creator. So I've recorded that episode, and I kind of realized Prince of Darkness is like the one John Carpenter movie that it doesn't stick out while I'm recording. I can't think of any like actors or scenes. I mislabel it as a Sam Neill movie. I thought he did two movies for Sam Neill, but he only did In the Mouth of Madness. I thought it was In the Mouth of Madness and Prince of Darkness. But anyway, so I watch Prince of Darkness, and I see it as a Lovecraftian story. It's Lovecraft. It blows me away. Makes me enjoy it way more. It's a great movie too, by the way. So we do have an episode of that coming up. Then I watch the 1978 Invasion of the Body Snatchers, because I just remember my father loved that movie, always spoke about it, and I just remembered watching it with him a few times, not knowing what was in front of my face. I think he would tell me to turn away with the boobies at the end. But I watch Invasion of the Body Snatchers, and to me, it's Lovecraftian. I mean, it's cosmic horror. The spores, everything comes from space in that. Well, Night of the Living Dead is cosmic horror. Night of the Living Dead, they're not zombies. They're something else. We call them zombies. We got to label it something, but these are creatures of something else, of a higher power just beyond our doorstep. In Night of the Living Dead, it is referenced that the Venus comet is crossing Earth. When the Venus comet crosses Earth, the dead rise. It has nothing to do with the zombies. Everything it's cosmic horror. It's something that we cannot fathom. That's really like one of the hooks of cosmic horror that I think I'm just like latching on to. I like how broad and very specific like it is, where there's this higher energy, this higher meaning out there. And it comes to us in the most horrific way. It's you can kind of even make the argument that Hellraiser is cosmic horror. So That's always been my take with Night of the Living Dead. This movie, there's very little to say about it that hasn't already been said. But I felt the same when I was discussing Jaws for the 50th anniversary. But I do want to say this: the ending of Night of the Living Dead. I don't even know the actor or the character's name where the dude gets shot. They shoot him. You don't know if it was racial. You don't know if they shot him because he was black or if they shot him because they thought he was a zombie. Collateral damage, friendly fire, right? You don't know. I always felt like it was intended to split, like to split the audience. But I still recall when I first saw it, shock ending. It's just like shook me that dude just got shot. After everything we saw him go through that whole night. It made me think about Gallipoli, Mel Gibson. One of his best movies, one of his forgotten movies. The ending for that. I mean, you guys can kind of see. Shock ending. Cool Hand Luke. Shock ending. I can't believe they shot him. What? These shock endings are shot endings. So when the movie affects you like that, where let's just go back to Texas Chainsaw real quick. I'm watching Wolf's Creek. Never seen it. And there's a moment in that film where the girl ends up on a highway. And you want to say, you've seen this before. But it's also a little bit of film language. This is where we end the movie. It's someone who's been tortured. They run away. They end up on the highway. The film will end in some way at this point, but it doesn't. And that's because of Texas Chainsaw Massacre, where, again, everything ends on the highway in that movie. And other filmmakers have used that as a trope to help the audience and to subvert the audience, subvert their expectations. Night of the Living Dead is very similar to where it builds this like zombie trope. This is how we handle the zombie. This is what we do with the zombie. And from 1968 on, it took a couple generations. They hail Dawn of the Living Dead. They don't hail Day of the Living Dead. I guess that we eventually got Twilight of the Living Dead. I don't know how many films recently that they've been making that are connected or loosely connected to the world of Night of the Living Dead. But it was all Twilight was, I know, supposed to have been the fourth film. That didn't come out during this. Here we go, Night of the Living Dead film series. Let's see if we can get a quick list. Night of the Living Dead, 1968. Dawn of the Dead, 1978. Dawn of the Dead, considered one of the greatest horror movies, the greatest zombie movie of all time. A lot of people will put that there. Day of the Dead, 1985. Here's the wild thing. I always favor Day of the Dead over Dawn of the Dead. I love the military bunker, the military stuff, the experimentations, the growth of the zombie, that they're figuring things out. Always enjoyed Day more. I think even Day has better deaths. But I think the characters, people always resonated with the characters of Dawn. And then in 2005, we have Land of the Dead. 2 years later, wow. Diary of the Dead, 2007. 2 years later, Survival of the Dead. Road of the Dead, canceled movie. Okay, Twilight of the Dead, to be announced. We do have spin-offs. We have foreign spin-offs, right? That the Italians, I believe, did their own. I think Zombie, the movie, comes from that. It gets weird and complicated as it does when you talk about the Godzilla film franchise. But the point I wanted to get at is it really wasn't until the 2000s that the zombie like kind of came back, and once it was back, it would never go away in American culture, especially in American horror. A lot of the films I just rattled off, I believe some of them have been crowdfunded either through Indiegogo or Kickstarter, but people, they will tell you they're sick of zombies and zombie fatigue and all of these things, right? But people love zombies. And just like Halloween and Texas Chainsaw, that first one was so good. It's near impossible to top. It's not even that. Halloween has a extremely satisfying ending. Texas Chainsaw, as we discussed, extremely satisfying ending. Night of the Living Dead, extremely satisfying ending. There's a lot to be said that these weren't just films that caught fire during the day, which they did, but these were films that were so good that they immediately stood the test of time as soon as people started watching them. Night of the Living Dead is one of the greatest independent movies ever made. Night of the Living Dead is attributed to a long line, of a horror genre. We can kind of say the same about Halloween. We can even say the same about Texas Chainsaw, where those types of films and the deviation of the slasher film, the two of them, clearly not the first of each, but again, impactful enough for you to believe it if someone told you that. Or it doesn't matter if you want to drill down into the atoms of all of this. Sometimes, if you want to just talk about Jaws real quick. Jaws, sea creature attack movie, sea creature survival movie. Not the first, but good enough to be the first. So it's not first to market, but it's best in class. AKAPAD, this movie has been around me my entire life, and to this day I don't feel like I watched it enough. Maybe I should let me watch this tonight. I think that's what I'm going to do. AKAPAD, 31 Days of Dread, black and white, Night of the Living Dead, the original 1968. Let's go.
Roll sound.
Rolling. Sound production, take 2.
Let's take this time real quick, AKAPADers, my fellow film buffers, and let's just go over the schedule. This is years in the making. This type of rollout I've been planning for years, but we're finally here. So here we go. Early in the morning, that's the new stuff. 8 a.m. Now, 8 p.m., Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, these are movies maybe of something coming out. Like if there's a Marvel movie coming out and we want to do a retrospective on that particular franchise, or if Sylvester Stallone comes back and gives us Rocky Part 18, we might want to use the later time slots for a week or two to go over all of the Rocky movies. Now, we have a lot of different threads on this podcast that's explored 8 p.m. So 8 a.m., 8 p.m. Wednesdays at 8 p.m. This is our creator spotlight. We could do an episode on Martin Scorsese, Steven Spielberg, some of the new guys, Spike Lee, even composers, guys like John Williams. This brings us into the weekend. Saturday, Sunday morning. Again, we're back at that 8 a.m. drop. We do cartoons because I want to emulate the times where you would wake up with a bowl of cereal and watch cartoons all day Saturday and all day Sunday, and then eventually you would get to touch grass because you would have one of your friends knocking on your door to play in a touch football game or even some baseball, basketball. The weekend nights, let's get into education. 8 p.m. Again, all of our drops are either 8 a.m. or 8 p.m. But the weekend nights, documentaries, and I focus on creative documentaries because I feel like a part of this film buff movement that we're all bathing in, that I'm super grateful for, is education. And some of this, some of where we're finding our facts, some of the, general enjoyment, because I love documentaries, all of this is explored at 8 o'clock p.m. And trust me, there's a lot there. There's a lot out there that I didn't even know existed. And we're going to go beyond that too. We're going to get into some of the graphic art, some of the special effects, some of the makeup documentaries. There's a lot to learn, and I'm so happy to bring you the 9 p.m. because, guys, you guys know I'm an autodidact. I am self-educated. Sure, I have some certifications. Sure, I spent time at the Art Institute of Philadelphia for animation. But in large, I'm a self-educated, self-made person. That's connected to the weekend 8 p.m. drops. My AKAPADers, my film buffers, I hope to see you there for all of it. I love you guys, and rock and roll.
Okay, that's a wrap.